Everyone, this is the Tina Cloud and TinaCMS sprint review and forecast. So for sprint 50 review and forecast for sprint 51. Let me just change the screens quickly again, map things, and go to the review. Awesome. So sprint goals, we had the Tina Cloud startup. So that was upgrading to Next 15 and giving it a little glow up. This is nearly done. It's in review. Just waiting on me to approve it. And it's looking really, really nice. So a massive effort there. Thanks to Matt. I don't know, Matt, if you want to talk to this point anymore, or we'll just kind of, you'll do the talk on Wednesday, and that can be the.
Yeah, I'm doing a talk tomorrow on it, but essentially updating it to Next 15, still using React 18 because React 19 isn't quite ready for it. But taking a lot of just refreshing all the components, like the hero looks like an actual hero that you'd find on a good landing page. There's like a features component, there's stats, better testimonials. It looks like you could pick it up and almost use it as your landing page out of the box.
Yeah. So yeah, a massive improvement over the previous one. So awesome stuff to see. Moving to the next sprint goal, which was the transfer of content from the old database schema in TinaCloud to the new one. We're still at roughly 13%, and this is kind of due to a few reasons. The first being the transfer tool experienced some issues, and this was due to kind of projects being a lot larger than expected. And then we also saw some more content API errors, and we'll see that in the kind of overall status dashboard below. But we found this is not actually due to the content migration. It's about how quickly we're spinning up the lambdas. And I'll let probably Brooke go into more detail if you can.
Yeah, there's whenever one of the lambdas gets like when a series of lambdas gets called, there's another series of lambdas that are also being called for identity services, essentially halving our lambda count. So we're looking at improving that. The TLDR there.
Cool. Happy to move on. So yeah, this was a 1 week sprint. TinaCloud, we had 76 hours build from Brooke, Nick, Kelly, and Matt, and then 32 hours on TinaCMS just for me. So looking at the sprint backlog, obviously not a lot of dones this sprint, but there are kind of two big things in review, both being the TinaCloud starter, as well as the React 19, I guess, beta release. And then in progress, just quickly to touch on it, obviously the transfer and then a little, well, kind of major refactor to the conversion pipeline. And we'll talk about that a little later as well. Moving on from this to the sprint burn down. And as you can see, yes, not many dones completed this week, so only 4 effort completed and 56 remain. No code coverage, so that's still not done. We did have 2 deployments for TinaCloud and none for TinaCMS. So now to the TinaCloud overview. We can see we've had an increase in the identity API from 23 to 33. And also in the content API, we had an increase from 251 to 1.2K. So we do see, yeah, again, we do see that increase, but we've identified the area and kind of why it's happening.
Yeah, so I think Nick covered it in the chat during the week where that spike of errors didn't correlate with database throttling, which is what happened previously. So that's why we've we've discovered that, hey, there was a big spike in the number of lambdas being spun up. So yeah, it's still uncovering information about that, but hopefully there's a way forward.
Did you move your mouse over the errors that you're looking at? I see multiple spikes and multiple widgets.
Yep. Yeah, this is a bit of a dense dashboard, but essentially we're looking at these numbers at the top. So for the identity API, we're getting 33 errors, and this correlates to this one down here.
Okay, and over what period?
So this is over the last week.
It's not crazy.
No,
No,
and
it's
I mean
it's barely it's 33 out of almost 1.6 million.
Oh,
So it's
okay. So it's awesome.
it's
yeah,
bugger
so
all.
the
Yeah.
numbers are very low.
Okay,
Like
all right.
the 1200 content API errors are 6.6 million requests.
Okay,
So
all right.
like
Maybe
the
can I
tiny numbers.
suggest use a happy voice when you're talking about errors when they're good?
Yeah. I mean, like any error is bad, but it is in the lower percentages. Yeah, I can definitely improve on that.
All right.
Cool. Moving on to Mixpanel. So we've had an increase of accounts created from 202 to 231, which is good to see. Organizations created staying about the same over the last 30 days. In the sign up to commit conversions, we've seen a good increase from 7.9 to 13.85. It is still down a little bit from a couple weeks ago, but we're seeing, at least 65% of users once they're kind of through actually making that first commit. So still some good numbers there. For the Barebones starter, we saw an increase of Git clones from 66 to 68. The Tina Cloud starter also an increase from 196 to 204. The Tina self-hosted also an increase from 36 to 43. And then the overall TinaCMS downloads, we saw a slight decrease from 17,511 to 17,259. So roughly about the same. So it's not too bad there. The epics stayed the same. Oops, sorry. Cool. So yeah, the epics stayed the same as last week, and that is the retro. I mean, that's the review. Moving to R&D, we had the same experiments, the database performance and React 19 upgrades. And for AI tools, Jack used ChatGPT. Brooke didn't use any of this sprint, and Matt used GitHub Copilot.
I'm curious, Brooke, why didn't you use any AI at all?
The problem I was working on didn't need AI for that.
Okay.
Nice. For the sprint retro, kind of the main points for what went well. We saw significant decrease or significant difference between the old and new schemas. So this is with the content transfer. So the new schema is showing a decrease from 2.35 million to 0 right throttle. So that's a insane improvement. So well done to the Tina Cloud team there. For what didn't go so well, we're still kind of running into more issues than we initially thought. It's to do with, I guess, React 19 as well as the transfer. But yeah, we're looking to tackle those this sprint. If we're happy with that, we'll move to the forecast. Nice. Let me share my screen for the second to last time. Cool. So for sprint 51, it is a 1 week sprint, even though it is over Easter, so it will be a shorter week. We are still looking at, for the goals, the transferring of content from the old schema to the new one, and then also hopefully getting the React 19 release to a stable. We're pretty close on that. It's just one component. Did a bit of refactoring this sprint, and we're just on like 1 or 2 more issues with that, so nearly there. For the items, basically everything from the last sprint. So we're just looking to finish those off, and then yeah, make a release. Any questions for the forecast?
What did you think about the email or the Yakshay that I sent with Jeff about the markdown letters and stuff?
Yeah, so to give context, that's about the plate one,
Yeah.
and the Zod schemas.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, so I guess to give a little bit more context behind the scenes why this is something that is needed. So I do agree with your email. I think overall we should continue to use plate, but we definitely, it would be very valuable to get plate to use and provide those sort of schemes. So currently we have to manually craft those, and we've got a big file at the moment that defines all those. So we've kind of built their types for them, and that's how we interact and keep everything as type safe as possible behind the scenes. But you know, there are many places where those types aren't correct. So that would help a lot with kind of figuring out what is actually on an object at a certain time. So that's one part of the refactor. I guess the overall issue with, I want to call it the conversion pipeline, but it is the rich text editor, is there's a lot of tech debt. So currently, last sprint, I was working on another PBI that touched in that area, and kind of finding and fixing the bugs in that code is a nightmare. So I started refactoring and documenting kind of the flow, how everything is working, and I'm making good headway.
Right. Okay. But I'm not really sure if Jeff believes it's a ton of work to get to the new version of plate, and there is no benefit that you get out of it. So the 2 options are to work with them and add Zod, or to build our own with Zod in it, and potentially not use Slate as well. Is it even worth touching this hornet's nest?
Look, I think that's a massive discussion. And I think the more stuff that we do custom, the more maintenance we're gonna have to provide, and the more issues we're gonna run into. So I think if we can, pass that off to someone else, and like the plate guy is very active.
Right.
I think we
So-
just need to fix
So why
our
don't we
internal stuff.
why don't we set up a call with him to see if we can convince him, or see if it's even possible for him to consider supporting Zod.
Yep, yeah, we can definitely do that.
Okay. All right. Let's put that on the backlog for this week.
Can do. All right.
Yes. Okay.
And then let me share my final screen. Awesome. So thanks everyone. This has been the sprint review and forecast. You'll be able to find the videos on the TinaCMS YouTube. Thanks again. See you next week.
Thanks, guys.
And